This is ArtsAlive. I'm Lynda Philippi. My guest is Dwight Evalt, and Dwight is going to be on the Art Harvest Studio Tour this year. So welcome.
Thank you.
And in addition to that, you're also coordinating the artist show at the Chehalem Cultural Center.
Yeah, I'm mostly I'm coordinating the hanging part of the show.
Okay.
And working with Aaron at the center to get everything together.
Okay.
It'll be really pleasant. Plus, a lot of the volunteers are artists on the tour, and they're going to be coming to help hang the show, receive the work, and coordinate everything that way too.
Well, so let's talk about the show a little bit first, because that will be running, as far as I know, like through Christmas, perhaps?
Through December 12th.
Okay.
And there'll be naturally there'll be an opening on the first Friday Art Walk in Newburgh, and that'll be a lot of fun. I'm hoping a lot of artists show up, and then a lot of people can get a real preview of the tour, or maybe they would already have started. But if they haven't already started, it's a great place to go and look and see a few examples of everybody's work.
Because you'll have like at least two pieces of art
three.
from each artist on the tour.
Exactly.
That's kind of perfect. I love it. Okay. And then you yourself are on the tour, and I know you've been on quite a few years. How many years?
This will be the 4th year in a row.
4th year? Okay. Yeah, so you must like it, and it works out for you.
Yeah, it does work out for me. It's always interesting to open up your studio, have a variety of people come in. Some people come in and look at your work, and you know it's not for them. Some people come in and they're just absolutely fascinated and have all kinds of questions. So you have a little bit of everyone, all ages, all parts of the area, and even from all across the country, really. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like this tour has really grown, and now it's sort of a destination for a lot of people. They come here specifically because they want to do the tour, as well as the wineries and all the other things we have to offer. But that's great. It's such a draw.
Yeah, it's nice. It's because it just brings people that are interested in the artists here. It seems to be we have a great community of artists, and people show their interest by coming to the studios and maybe buying a fantastic work of art for their home, or jewelry, or whatever they like. In this case, we have furniture again.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I know you brought some images. So maybe what we should do is go ahead and show your images and let you talk about them a little, so people, if they're not familiar with your work, they'll see what you do.
Okay. And
should we do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a little bit different for this year, too. I'm working with making these images. They're pretty much monochromatic, except for some of them. And they're made by pouring liquid pewter or molten pewter onto the canvas.
Oh, how cool.
And so the images that you see are just burn marks from pouring the pewter on the canvas.
Oh, the pewter doesn't stay. It gets peeled off.
Peeled back off.
Okay, wow.
And so in this particular image, you can see little lines through it. This one's titled Box Burn, and it's actually done on top of a corrugated cardboard, and that's what the lines are from. It's from the corrugated
Over the cardboard. So you don't try to manipulate the metal at all. Once you've poured it, you just...
Sometimes I manipulate it, yes.
Well, like with a
Push it
brush
around.
or something a little bit.
An object, a metal object.
Oh, interesting.
And then sometimes I'll actually, I'm actually drawing with it, really. I mean, looking for value and space and composition with it that way. So.
How did you come up with that? That's so interesting.
It came out of another process where I was working with some very small pieces and just tried pouring pewter directly on them. And some of it I peeled off, and I liked what I saw underneath. So.
Yeah, I mean, pewter. How did you come up with that as a medium?
Because it was very low melting, so it melts at a temperature low enough so it doesn't burn through things.
Oh, I see.
And
so that it won't burn the cloth. It'll leave the mark, but not make a hole.
It won't make a hole
Okay,
unless you
got it.
leave it on too long.
Right. Okay.
And this one, for instance, this one's called Primavera because it reminded me of like spring kind of feeling. And it's the same thing, but with the addition of some mineral pigments. They're just powdered pigments mixed with lacquer thinner. And I got on a trip to Amsterdam. They were actually ground in a windmill in Amsterdam.
Oh, really?
Amsterdam. So,
wow.
So they're really nice earthy tones to them. And,
do you put that on after the burning?
Yes. Usually,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's really something.
And this is another similar process, just called spiral. It's just a fairly simple drawing, but trying to get it to go.
Are these pretty good size paintings?
These are fairly modest size. I'm actually making some that are about 4 by 5 feet, so much bigger.
Oh, wow,
So,
okay.
This is probably about 20 by 16 or something like
So
that.
like this, something
Right.
like that, okay.
The other ones are a little bit larger.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a long, tall one. It's just called vertical burn, and done the same way, really.
Yeah, okay.
Just drawing with the liquid pewter.
Well then, so after you use the pewter and you scrape it off, can you put it back in a pot and remelt it and
Oh,
use it
yes.
again?
I use the
Okay.
same pewter over and over again. A little bit of it goes away in oxidation. And,
Sure.
You know, what they call slag, you know.
Yeah.
I'm actually, it's interesting because if you look at this one, the surface is real clean, but if you looked at the back side is actually where I poured the pewter on. And there's little traces of pewter left on the back.
Oh, really?
So actually stretch the canvas, pour the pewter, unstretch the canvas, flip it around, and put it back on the thing. So
Okay, so it's quite a process.
that's a process, yes.
Yeah. That's why it looks so good on this side, because that's actually not the side that had all the mess.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
So,
okay.
In some cases, I can actually clean off the mess because I like that side better.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually just sit there and pick off all the little bits of pewter. But in this case, it actually comes out much cleaner, and it gets this little kind of a ghost shadow around some of the pieces. So
Does it look funny if you leave the pewter on?
it just looks messy.
Oh, it does, okay,
Yeah.
so it doesn't look cool metallic, it just looks kind of
Kinda
messy,
like, oh, there's
weird.
some pewter here and there.
Okay,
So,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting. Pewter is we were up in Victoria, and there was a street fair. We were wandering around, and there was a guy he was doing bowls and things out of pewter. I thought it was really fascinating. It's so pretty.
yeah, it's just a nice, almost like it absorbs the light. It's very pretty metal. So.
It is pretty. And it seems like they used to use pewter, and it was kind of like dark and dull. But this pewter was really bright and shiny and very pretty.
Sure, if it's polished up, it'll be bright and shiny.
Okay, so you polish it up to get the brightness.
And they used to make pewter with lead in it, and they don't do that anymore.
So what is pewter exactly?
Mostly tin.
Okay, hence the brightness. Okay, gotcha. Wow. I mean, you never know what you're going to, when somebody sits down and think, what is he doing this year? Oh, wow, that's something completely different than you were doing before.
Yeah, I'm still doing a lot of more colorful paintings too, but this is like a thing that I've kind of concentrated on for this year.
You know what I'm going to say? I think 2015, I think the theme of this year is kind of evolution, because
be.
we've had a number of artists that are doing things that are a real departure from what they've done previously. There's kind of, whether it's, from traveling or just wanting to try something new, it seems like this is a year that a lot of change has happened in individual artists' lives. And I think it's going to be a very exciting tour.
I think so. Yeah.
For people who've done it before and said, oh, I've seen her work, I've seen his work. Well, you may not have seen this. So, don't, I would encourage people not to miss maybe an old favorite that they think, oh, maybe I could pass that this year, I don't really have that much time. No, you really want to try to see as many as you can, because artists don't keep doing the same things.
Oh, everything changes. It's a constant evolution. You live and learn and grow. So that's the idea.
So, just like refresh a little bit for those who may be new to you, sort of how did you become an artist?
Well, I've been interested in art since I was very young, and studied art in school, and basically I started teaching at about 30-something, and taught for 20 years, or 15 years rather, at the Yandell Carleton High School, and finally decided I wanted to just make art. And I went to school. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, went to NYU for my master's degree, studied in Venice, Italy, and in New York, and I just really like here, so I'm not going to live in New York City because I can't stand it. I like New York City a lot. It's a lot of fun.
It's energetic, but it's jangly and chaotic too.
Yeah,
It's also expensive.
Yeah, but it's great fun.
Oh yeah.
And it's a great place to see art and to be an artist. But I personally cannot be that confined. Like when I'm walking down the street and I feel like I'm in a concrete canyon, I can't see anywhere. That's not comfortable for me. So I live here.
I think it's really true. I love New York. I love to visit New York, and the idea of New York, and it has that real burst. I mean, there's so much energy there, and there just is, and it's hard not to feel excited about it or when you're there. But then you think this would be really, to me, it would be a draining place to live because it does take a lot of outward thrusting energy to be in a place like that. Where some place like this, you know, you can just be and the place kind of absorbs and it gives back a lot. I would say that's true. I just came from San Francisco.
Well, I really like
Yeah.
the people I met in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, what's one of the things, you know, for me, everyone seemed very friendly as long as you were just kind of like them, going. You know,
Sure.
everybody's going all the time. It's great, you know. Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, so I grew up in the Bay Area, and sometimes I think, oh, what would it be like to live there again? So we were just down there this weekend, and what I just thought, you know, I'm really looking forward to going home. And today I was thinking about that. I was out driving around, and I was in Dundee, and I thought, you know, it's so pretty here, and it's so pastoral, and just the greenness. And I would miss that so much if I didn't live here, and that's what I think is true. So I would think for an artist, it's nice to have that mix, you know, of the energy and all the people and the stimulation, obviously, but then to have, you know, a place that sort of nourishes and feeds your soul as well.
That's where we travel.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it really true? Yeah. So you went to school in Chicago.
Yeah, back in the 80s, so.
Uh-huh.
Got my bachelor's of fine arts degree. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so you really, your whole life, you've really known that you were drawn to this life. It's not as if you did something for 60 years and then just said in retirement, oh, I think I'll dabble in watercolor or something.
I feel like I dabbled in teaching.
Yeah.
So.
What did you teach?
Art. So, yeah. So.
And that was, you know, I mean, obviously that must have been somewhat rewarding at
Oh,
times.
yeah, that was great.
You
Yeah.
had your moments of loving it.
Oh, yeah, I loved it most of the time. So.
Yeah. So here you are.
Yeah. And so basically I'm just, I work on my artwork most of the time and just trying to expand the market and expand my audience for the work. So.
And you know, I think that's another piece too, as an artist, is that whole, well, of course, putting on a tour, but that whole marketing piece, you know, is sort of an entrepreneurial piece. In addition to being a creative person, you also have to be a salesperson and a
probably
marketer.
the hardest part.
Right, yeah. And do the social media, oh, wait, I'm here, right? And all of that. So
Yeah, we all have to practice at that, so yes.
absolutely we do, yes. I think that's a challenging piece.
I do have a website, and most artists will have a website, and I do go on Facebook occasionally, but not as much as I should, you know, in order for the marketing to happen. But I think we had a meeting last night, and we talked about, okay, everybody, if you've got a Facebook account, go on Facebook and talk about Art Harvest. You know?
Yeah, right. Well, this is the time to pump it up for sure.
This is the time.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, part of it does have a life of its own, but part of it is, I think that's what social media is so good at, is putting the word out quickly to an awful lot of people and
Right.
friends of friends of friends and friends, and especially if you make a post public or something, then everybody sees it, and then you really get the word out quickly to an awful lot of people.
Yeah, I think you'll probably be seeing some posts. So.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'm just going to look for those.
Okay.
Anyway, Dwight, well, so let's go over, that's the first 2 weekends in October, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
Both days. There's buttons available. You can pick one up at the Cultural Center, at the
Cultural Center at Cusick's Gallery in Newburgh, at Pacific Frame, at the Currents Gallery, and I think there are a couple others. And also, you can pick them up at any artist studio.
Right, anywhere along the way.
Anywhere
Start
along
anywhere.
the way. Start anywhere.
Yeah.
And you'll see the little yellow signs everywhere that'll say Art Harvest Studio Tour.
I'm seeing them everywhere now. So
Okay,
that's
good.
great, yeah.
And often you'll see catalogs in, if you're going to a coffee shop or restaurant, you'll see all kinds of notices about it.
It's
so.
always very beautifully produced. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Okay, thank you.
And lots
Nice
of
to be with you again.
success. Yeah, I hope it works out well for you.
It will.